starve it if you want to kill it, is a saying. And this has to do with most things in life that you are not happy with. You actually have to make a choice to change it. But this is about women, both in work, businesses, entrepreneurs, at home. It doesn't really matter. But I am sure that you can recognize yourself. And that has to do with if you want to let go of literally doing everything, which I know you do, at home, business-wise, with friends, elderly parents, whatever it is, I'm sure that you are a yes person and you go into all these different topics of your surroundings and you say yes to help, to be a nice person, to do, and but it doesn't work. It literally doesn't. And here comes the point, because we have to learn to delegate. And deeper than that is that, yes, delegate is fine, Annette, but I have to trust. And yes, you have to trust. But foremost, you have to trust yourself. Because the second you trust yourself, everything is relaxed. Then everything is fine. Then you are in your own center. You know who you are. You know your language. You know your belief system. You know your mindset, which I keep talking about all the time. And then there is no problem to delegate. But the second you feel a little bit unbalanced, like, ooh, how is this going to work? Do I really know the answer of how to tackle this or do this myself? How do I know the outcome, the solution? But you can't know the outcome or the solution, can you? So you literally have to trust that you don't trust. You don't know the outcome. You don't know tomorrow. You don't know an hour from now. But you have to be okay with it. You have to be okay with failing. That giving that task to whomever, partner, work colleague, friend, it doesn't really matter. It's the same variable, it's the same issue. It's just a different frame. You have to learn to trust. And you have to learn to trust that it might not go as expected. Now I can't even speak English. You literally have to be there and literally have to go into who you are and let go. Let go of how this is supposed to look like. Let go of having an idea that you know what's going to happen. Or let go of that you think that you have the answer and the only answer. And the funny part, or the sad part, is actually that all of this is based on your past insecurity, somebody telling you something or somebody giving you an information that this is not good enough, this is not working, you don't have the answers, I know better, be quiet. Whatever you experience, which we all have, that has made the kind of platform for where you work from and where you take your belief system and where you take your pattern from. But like I said, and I keep saying in all my videos, is that we need to do that workload with ourselves, figure out what is ours and what belongs in the past. Because we cannot speak our true value if we don't thoroughly own it. And whatever you take from the past, it doesn't matter. But you have to believe here and now that this is yours and this is what you want to have as a mindset. Then it's easier to trust. A child, give them the reason for why it's dangerous, but, there are some consequences. To trust that that person will kind of do the utmost with that responsibility and will thrive and will do its best. And with allowance of maybe failing, that you will have the best coworker, the best partner, the best friend ever. But if you always work from a place where, I can do better, I know the answer, I'll fix it a lot faster, if that is your energy, if that's what you're showing your coworkers, for example, then those coworkers will be burned out because there's no fuel, there's no energy, there's no inspiration, there's nothing to make that person thrive. Just a lot of boundaries and unhealthy boundaries that will make them feel that they are imprisoned. And you will not have your best partners and coworkers. And the same in the leader room, or with your co-founders. If there's not playing ball here, throwing, sometimes it might hit the basket, sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes some catches it, some it goes way off and nobody managed to find it back. It's a game. It's supposed to be this ping pong game of ideas, of, failing, of managing, of, there shouldn't be any fear involved in that boardroom or in that playground, because the second fear comes in, it transfers to the other person and everybody becomes fearful. And I promise you, that's not a healthy environment to create. And that's what we're here for. Create in business. And there is no difference between business and at home. Home is just a different business. You do exactly the same there, except we don't, as you do in your business. Business gets a lot more attention, get a lot more feedback, a lot of more constructive, presence than actually a family does. Very often. Don't want to put everyone in the same box, but there is some, you understand what I mean. So the whole point is that if you gave the same attention to, there's a fly here, to your home environment and your friends as you did your work, there would be a whole lot of different communication. So if we implement that both at work and at home, and at work, we would start having these game days. Throw ball, see what happens, put it in a different basket, different colors, different music, whatever you choose to do. But you want it to thrive into something where there is allowance to say stupid things, make a fool of yourself. And you should actually have a prize for doing that, because that's greatness. You dare to actually ask the wrong question, if there is such a thing. But here is the essence of it all. And that has to do with delegating people, give a task, say, this is what's going to happen. I don't know about the outcome. I don't know what's going to hold within it, but I would like that framework and, play around it, not only inside the framework, but outside. Come back with the most crazy ideas that, go to the moon. It doesn't really matter. It's about letting that brain get food. So it will start evolve, it will start to create. And the second your brain starts to create, it's like endless, because your brain is endless. That's the amazing part. But we keep getting all these illnesses because we're not using our brain. I mean, that's a very shortcut, but it's actually what happens. So if you only think of success in the successful way, the money that comes on the table, going this path, this line, without thinking outside the box, we are going to be, or that business is going to be one of the herds. You know that every unique, successful business have stepped out of the box and they chose something different. Look at it from a different angle, from a different perspective. Figure out things, delegating in the most crazy directions, people that might not even have that job description. They will get a task that they need to develop, which makes people think and create, because they don't have any boxes to follow. They can actually make a fool of themselves because they don't have a set of unwritten manual rules that they need to, comply by. So that's the whole point. Go out of your comfort zone, because there is where the gold is. There is where success is. There is where evolvement is. There's where everything is. the same in business as it is in home. But think of all those people that goes into these meeting rooms, board meetings, whatever they are, and try to, or no, hold themselves back, saying that, no, there is somebody here that always comes up with the answer, much better ideas than I have. And they manage to voice it much better. So we don't get to see their ideas. And what a shame, because there's so many hidden gems, so many hidden solutions out there that is never heard. So what if we get prizes or to those that dare to step up, no matter what kind of solution or implementing, things that we could actually try to work with. Rightfully or wrong, there wouldn't be any rules. Think of that, none of the ones that spoke would have the center stage. Everyone else would. And see, if you turned everything upside down, what would actually happen to the dynamic of the group, to the dynamic of every single one of them? And what kind of solutions would you get? So delegating is not only delegating a job to somebody around you. If it's children, husband, work, coworker, partners, it doesn't matter. It is about maybe delegating literally to somebody that doesn't even know what kind of issues you are trying to solve, but get ideas from somebody that has a fresh mind, a fresh, keen eye to see it in a completely different way. That is innovation, and that is delegating at a very high level. And the only one that will benefit from it is you, 100%.